Installing the AFMS equipment correctly is essential for efficient operation. In this video, I will show you how to install the air pressure pickup tubes on the supplier fan bell, install a pressure transducer, and how to calculate free area of the fan bell opening. There are two different styles of pickup tubes that can be installed on the fan bell housing. The first style is the SSS 1112/13/14 models, which has a single right angle mount. The second pickup tube type is the SSS 1115/16/17, which has mounting feet on both ends of the pickup tube. The first installation type I will explain is installing the air pressure pickup tubes on the supply fan bell housing using the SSS 1112/13 or 14 pickup tube. First, position the pickup tube's mounting foot on the edge of the fan bell so the probe ends of the tubes are pointed toward the center of the fan inlet. Note, all pickup points must be within the airstream for accurate averaging of the differential pressure. If the pickup tubes are too long or too short, use a different model. Then attach the tubes to the fan bell housing using the two self-tapping screws inserted through the 3/16" mounting holes. A minimum of 2 pickup tubes mounted perpendicular to one another is suggested for fan inlets. Repeat the previous steps to mount the remaining pickup tubes. Please reference a chart in a selection guide for more information. The second installation type is installing the air pressure pickup tubes on the supply fan bell housing using an SSS 1115/16/17 pickup tube. First, position the pickup tubes so that the mounting feet span the fan inlet and all pickup points are within the airstream. Note, all the pickup points must be within the airstream for an accurate averaging of the differential pressure flow. If the pickup tubes are too long, use a shorter model. Next, attach the first mounting foot to the fan bell using 2 self-tapping screws inserted through the 3/16" mounting holes. Finally, attach the second mounting hole to the opposite edge of the fan bell using 2 self-tapping screws inserted through the 3/16" mounting cutouts. Note, a minimum of 2 pickup tubes mounted so each span the inlet is suggested. Repeat the previous steps to mount the remaining pickup tubes. If you are using a BAC 9311C-AFMS, remove the black shipping plugs from the pressure sensor ports. Then connect port H of the pickup tubes in parallel and add a T for the tubing connection to the high port of the AFMS controller. It is best practice to locate this T in the middle of the manifold. Then connect the port Ls of all the pickup tubes in parallel and add a T for the tubing connection to the low port on the AFMS controller. It is best practice to locate this T in the middle of the manifold. It is good practice to have equal tubing lengths between the high and the low tubing runs. Also, locate controller and sensors so tubing length is minimized. If you are using a BAC 5901C-AFMS, you will need to connect the pitot tubes to a TPE 1475-21 or TPE 1475-22 pressure transducer. When installing the transducer, ensure there is enough space around it to make the tubing and the electrical connections. Note, the TPE 1475-21 and -22 may be mounted in any position, but typically is installed in a vertical surface with the pressure ports on the right and the cable entrance on the left. Avoid locations with severe vibrations or excessive moisture. The enclosure has a standard 1/2" conduit opening and may be installed with either conduit coupling or a cable gland type fitting. Use screws threaded through the case's mounting holes to fasten the assembly to a location near the array of pressure flow pickup tubes. Do not over-tighten. Now that the transducer is installed, connect the port H's of all the pickup tubes in parallel and add a T for the tubing connection to the high port on the supply air pressure transducer. It is best practice to locate this T in the middle of the manifold. Next, connect the port L's of all the pickup tubes in parallel and add a T for the tubing connection to the low port on the supply air pressure transducer. It is best practice to locate this T in the middle of the manifold. Again, it is good practice to have equal tubing lengths between the high and low tubing runs. Also, locate the transducer and sensors so tubing length is minimized. To connect the wiring from the transducer to the AFMS controller, use at least 22 gauge wire, shielded twisted pair for all connections. Do not locate the device wires in the same conduit with wires supplying inductive loads. First, connect the AFMS controller's common terminal to the common terminal on the transducer. Then, connect the AFMS controller's phase terminal to the transducer's power terminal. Lastly, connect the signal wire from the out on the transducer to the UI9 on the AFMS controller. The transducer should be set for 0 to 2 inch of pressure and 0 to 10 for the voltage. Now that everything is installed, I need to measure the fan inlet diameter and calculate the free area of the fan bell housing opening in square feet. The calculation I use for this is to multiply pi by the radius squared. If inches are used for this, be sure to divide by 144 to get the square feet. For fans with multiple inlets, all inlets should be included in the free area calculation. Save this result for the commissioning stage. This completes the installation of the pickup tubes on the supply fan bell housing, installing the pressure transducer, and calculating the free area. To learn more about KMC Controls, airflow measurement station, or to learn more about any of the solutions from the building geniuses at KMC, visit us on the web at kmccontrols.com.